At 6. The news is live on Joe 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM in Accra and Kumasi. We on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana, 16 regions including Badarin FM, Bumpurugu, Clenham Radio, Batogaskia FM, Techiman and Radio Wawa. Get radio, TV and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app for Android and iOS devices. This morning, renowned economist Kwame Pianim says leadership deficit in Ghana is costing every citizen about $30,000.
Korea has a GDP per capita of $33,000 US. Ghana, $2,000 US. The leadership deficit cost is $30,000 per head of every Ghanaian.
In business,
Institute of Economic Affairs to petition Parliament on the ratification of the lithium deal as former Chief Justice cites deal as a short change. We've got details on the Joy Business Report.
And also this bulletin, Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association criticizes Communications Minister for single-handedly charging television stations to pay $15 a month or risk shutdown from the DTT platform.
Conversation. The minister sent out invoices from the ministry station.
How much was this?
The fee was proposed at $15,000 a month.
$15,000 a month per station.
We have details as the association says it is in court over the matter. Also coming up, Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah shares the unique story of Ofuasem in Pedre, a community in his constituency where the district level elections are a big deal.
And needed to be fixed, and whose responsibility it was, and who had chopped the money, and how it should be resolved. But I assure you that it is a big deal to the about 1,000 people living in Ofuasem in Pedre.
And
safe driving saves lives. Drive safe.
Road safety advocate appeals to drivers to kill the speed as the days inches closer to the Christmas festivities.
Going into the festive season, I think that every driver will drive with caution at the back of their mind.
These are more here with me, Mami Sinyamiche Thompson. This is Joe News, independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Now, renowned economist Kwame Pianim has revealed that the lack of effective leadership in the country is costing every Ghanaian about $30,000. He says, using Ghana's peers at independence, South Korea as a case study, the current economic gap between the two countries is a clear evidence of how leadership deficit is negatively impacting the lives and economic prosperity of the country. Kwesi Adai-Kwating has more.
The latest speaker to grace this year's edition of the University of Professional Studies Annual Leadership Lecture is the renowned Ghanaian economist Kwame Pianim. This year's lecture was organized under the theme Reimagining Ghana's Development Trajectory for Peaceful, Prosperous Nation by 2057. Speaking at the event, Kwame Pianim disclosed that the leadership deficit in the country is costing every Ghanaian some $30,000 US.
Ghana and Korea started at the same level of per capita income around the 1960s. In fact, we were higher. 62 years later, Korea has a GDP per capita of $33,000 US. Ghana, $2,000 US. The leadership deficit cost is $30,000 per head of every Ghanaian.
He further recommended that government must take a relook at the rate of Ghana's population growth, adding that the rate is inimical to the economic growth of the country.
We cannot develop, no country has ever developed a 2% growth in population. And with every woman, not every woman, the average woman having 6 children, we can't do it.
Fred Kwesi Adai's report read to you. Now, the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association has criticized the Communications Minister, Esla Usu, for single-handedly charging television stations $15,000 a month or risk being shut down from the digital terrestrial television platform. The Communications Minister, while responding to questions in Parliament yesterday, noted that the government will no longer bear the cost of the DTT platform, warning that media houses will be cut off starting January next year if they refuse to pay. But reacting to the minister's threat, GEBA President Cecil Sunkwamel says consultations were not concluded before she went ahead to fix the charges.
Well, initially in the conversation that we were not giving, the fee was proposed at $15,000 a month.
$15,000 a month per station.
And at a meeting where some of our members were, they asked the question that what made up $15,000 a month? Because remember that these stations also distribute channels on other platforms. So they told us to come back with us with a breakdown of how this they came out. But she said that they had done a consideration and they were looking at $10,000 a month.
Mr. Sunkwa Mills also says the association is currently in court fighting the minister's decision.
The point is that you cannot allot fees on a national platform where people use arbitrary. And as a minister, the minister does not have that legal right to be giving fees for such a platform. And this is the point we raised. After the meeting, the minister sent out invoices to stations, and then we consulted the court for a clear interpretation of what this meant. That can the minister do as she is saying or not? As it is now, we're in court waiting for the outcome and explanation.
You had Giba President Cecil Sunkwa Mills. Now in today's Stories of Hope, we take you to Likpe Kukrentumi in the Guan district of the Oti region, where despite having lived for 46 years blind, Clement is still defying the odds to fend for himself through his 3-acre cocoa farm. Peter Senu has more on the following report.
We take you to Likpe Kukrantumi in the Guan district of the Oti region, where Clement, against all odds, is hoping things would turn out better for him someday. He got blinded gradually from age 15. He says only 2 of his other 5 siblings could see. Now, at age 61, Clement lives a solitary life. My grandfather had same challenges with his eyes, so I don't know if it is hereditary. Despite his visual impairment, he has over 3 acres of cocoa farm and at least 4 ropes of maize farm to his credit. He leads me to his farm. I must add, before he gets to his farm, there is this dangerous crossing. Foyao is like a father to us in the bush. We come to stay with him.
These are the agents who will drive development at the local level. And in Ofuase Mempedre, a community in Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah's constituency in the Eastern region, he says the district level election is a big deal. Here's why.
Local government is a unit committee members and the assemblyman or the assemblywoman. On Friday evening, Minister, around 5 p.m., between 5 and 7 p.m., I sat in a unit committee meeting at Ofuase Mempedre. Mempedre in Ofuase. And there were about 6 issues that we were discussing. One was the local well that was out of service and needed to be fixed, and whose responsibility it was, and who had chopped the money, and how it should be resolved. But I assure you that it is a big deal to the about 1,000 people living in Ofuase Mempedre. Then, forgive this example.
Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah there. Now, Parliament is considering a $338 million project, which government says will revolutionize the road sector in Accra. The project, if approved, will see to the expansion of the Tema motorway to 10 lanes, whilst the N1 will be expanded to 6 lanes on each side. Now, here's Vice Chair of the Finance Committee, Patrick Boama, briefing journalists ahead of a joint committee of Parliament meeting over the proposal.
Accra Tema motorway alone is 19.5 kilometers. But this project is 27.7 kilometers. So one will ask, where are you getting the remainder from? So this is the scope of work. 1, the entire project is divided into 3 sections, 1, 2, and 3. And the first section is the Accra Tema motorway, which is 19.5 kilometers. And it's going to be the rehabilitation and expansion of a minimum of 10 lanes on the motorway.
You had Vice Chair of the Finance Committee in Parliament, Patrick Boama, briefing journalist.
Safe driving saves lives. Drive safe.
Road crashes in Ghana have become pandemic, forcing authorities to put in place stringent measures to check drivers despite the challenge of poor road network. The president of the Accident Victim Support Foundation is emphasizing the need for drivers to be more vigilant as Christmas inches closer.
Going into the festive season, I think that every driver will drive with caution. They will drive with safety at the back of their mind. So going into the festive season, we want to beg every driver to have these things in mind, because we want to have them, celebrate with them, and continue the coming year with them.
And so, drive safe. That's how we end the bulletin this morning. Our top story. Renowned economist Kwame Pianim says leadership deficit in Ghana is costing every citizen about $30,000. Business is next on the Super Morning Show.